obviously just hidden by the umpire's launch, but emerging into view on the right-hand side.
We had another Henley crew, as you saw. We've just a few races ago seen the J16 Henley Rowing Club quad win through. So we'll see if another Henley Rowing Club boat, junior Cox 4, can make it through to join in the final.
Just sort of got used to saying their name now. Wake up saying Henley Rowing Club now.
We don't say Mary and Mercy Academy so often, do we?
No, not at all.
And not just least because it's quite tricky to say. It's a private Catholic girls' school, prep school, in suburbs of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA. So
Not quite right up the river to the start line then. Trip across the pond.
Yeah.
At the moment they're half a length down to Henley.
Yeah. So they come across for the trip. Recently won the girls' varsity 4 at their Cup Regatta and at the Philadelphia City Championships. So they've had some good racing together. They've got some good hairbow action going on actually. I'm not quite sure whether that's speeding them up or slowing them down. We're used to seeing matching caps, but they've got some good matching hair bows.
At the moment it doesn't need to be doing them much good, they're a length down to Henley.
No.
And Henley's certainly making easier work of what are admittedly pretty flat conditions for the regatta course, but they certainly look to be the more fluid, the more dynamic of the two crews. Mary and Mercy perhaps struggling in water they might not necessarily be used to because it does swirl and it does move underneath.
It's a bit choppy because we've got a few, although we've got no wind, just there coming down. By the time you've got a few boats chunking up and down, I'm just looking at that water and it's not looking as beautiful as it should really. It's a little bit choppy in some areas.
On a beautiful Sunday afternoon, what would be nicer than to cruise up and down on
in the launch.
Chopping
up the water
on a
for a
boat? Yeah,
regatta.
it'd be lovely. Well, at the moment, Henley have got control of this race. Control is the best word I could use. They've got about half a length of clear water as they move down past the enclosures.
See they shot all the umbrellas up on those tables to get some not from the rain, from some shade from the sun. Everyone crouching under those when they want to, coming out and cheering on some races. It's still pretty hot out there.
If you are watching from America and you are tuning in to see Mary and Mercy, or indeed St Paul's in the next race, it is disgustingly warm in the UK today. It's not usually like this. Usually it'd be raining.
I've been away all week and I'm really worried about my garden. I'm getting back tonight. I'm going to go back and get some water on my garden. It's been really hot. And beautifully hot all week. And if you haven't actually made it across to spectate at Women's Henley, it's really, really worth doing. If you're watching this on the web at home, get yourself down here next year. Much more kind of accessible, I think, than Royal Henley. You just come down, park in the town, park here.
No blazers needed.
There's no blazers needed. Wear what you like and wear your shorts and t-shirt. Come and sit on the bank with a picnic. You don't have to pay for enclosures or anything. I mean, you can do that in Henley Royal as well, but it's a bit more crowded. Come and sit down and enjoy the race. I just love it. I love it when every year when I first drive out in here, and there's something very special about this being a women's only event and then kind of owning it, I think. So back up to the start, the second semi-final of junior coxed 4s, the older category in this event, so these will all mostly be 17 and 18 year olds. Godolphin Latimer School on the right hand side of your picture there, and St Paul's School USA, not St Paul's School UK as you might be used to seeing. So St Paul's School USA already getting dropped there by a length by the end of the island. So the crews from the USA not having it all their own way.
It's hard to understate the importance of the start at Henley, especially with the nature of match racing. It's just you against one other crew. And if you can get that psychological advantage and jump out to a lead, and even a lead of clear water early on in the race, it has such a massive effect, and it's so difficult to get back on terms. And you have to have reserves of steel, I think, to be able to come back after being dropped by such a large margin early on in the race. And Godolphin and Latimer in control already.
So all these crews, they had a time trial on Friday morning, but it's just a more controlled event, so there's only 8 crews started the side-by-side racing yesterday. They had their quarter-final, straight through into quarter-final yesterday. They'll all have raced once. So as we discussed, I'm happy for the crews from America. They have raced once. I mean, both of them, they got through yesterday reasonably comfortably, but they're being decimated, I'd say, here today.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we're not fast enough. We're just not fast enough. I'd imagine this St Paul's crew is the numbers 9, 10, 11 and 12 athletes from their squad, because I would imagine their best athletes are in the 8, which we saw win its semi-final earlier on, unless I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure they did win their semi-final earlier on this afternoon.
Yeah.
Earlier on this morning, sorry.
They come over, as they often do, you know, might as well make it. Came over and raced at Reading Regatta last weekend. Won the women's intermediate 3 race last Saturday, so it's a great. You might as well come over, get yourself organised. I think Reading is used like that, isn't it? It's a really good test for women's Henley. It's always must be a bit of a. It's quite a lot though, isn't it? I mean, it's a shorter race, isn't it? Not to want to blow out your legs for this, but it's good kind of preparation, particularly if you're coming over from a different country to race.
Yeah, well, you might as well get your fill, and it's a shame these guys aren't sticking around for Henley Royal, because I'm pretty sure they're not entered into the Diamond Jubilee, which is a shame. Obviously, with 3 new events at Henley Royal this year, it's much more opportunity for women to get involved. But these girls are jumping on a plane shortly after today's racing, and I would imagine shortly after losing out, unfortunately, to Godolphin and Latimer, who do not look like relinquishing control of this semi-final of the junior Cox Fours. Coming up, we've got senior doubles and then senior 8s, taking us through to the lunch break, and then racing right up until about 10 to 1, 5 to 1 this afternoon. And we've got an hour for lunch, very civilised, and you'll rejoin us again at 5 to 2, and we'll take you right through to the end of the racing. So there you go, the famous 40 marker, classically denotes halfway of the Royal Regatta course, and probably around 2/3 to 3/4 of the Henley women's course.
So they've dropped it down now, haven't they? That's looking quite stately.
Chill, I think is the word I'd use. And then we're back up to the start. Race 3-4-1. Godolphin have that last one in hand. This is 3-4-1, the first semi-final of the senior double sculls. Tyne Rowing Club on the Berkshire station, and a Leeds Rowing Club York City composite on the Buckinghamshire station. So left and right respectively, as you see the picture in front of you.
We talked about the rise of Newcastle University recently, and the same with Tyne Rowing Club. Kind of real northeast rowing resurgence. I mean, northeast used to have the kind of racing centres. You used to have your professional races down in London, and then you had to have your professional northeastern. You had a fantastic rowing centre in the northeast, and everyone was kind of on the Tyne. Those professional scullers racing off, and there was kind of a bit of a kind of dearth of it really, but it's really come up. So Tyne coming up again, making it through into the semi-final here against another northern composite, Leeds York City composite. So I would imagine these girls have raced each other before on the circuit this summer.
Absolutely.
On the northern circuit.
At the moment, the composite having the better of the opening exchanges, and you would sort of expect that with a composite. They're usually put together because they are quick, because the 2 athletes from 2 crews, you don't have the squad around them to match up in a double. At the moment, they've got a length.
Some beautiful sculling there. Got out to some good length. This is the most senior heavyweight double sculling event, though it's senior. There's not an elite heavyweight double sculls. There's an elite lightweight, which has a few entries. So these are the top doubles, heavyweight doubles racing here this weekend. Huge entry. Some 30 crews had to race in the time trial, cut by half. Very smooth, very composed.
Exceptional technique from both crews, actually. Nice,
really good. The Tyne.
Straight arms of the catch.
Yeah, when you see the Tyne crew as well, very well matched. Again, if you sort of think if you saw them individually racing rather than side by side, you wouldn't think that they should be down. standard is pretty high by the time you're getting through to these semi-finals. And that's a long, rangy stroke. And I like those shots in a sculling boat to be able to see the angles and just the perfect lined up angles in both boats.
Particularly in a double, synchronicity is so important, isn't it? You need to be bang in tune with the person in front or behind you. The composite there looked to be just about sitting on a length and a quarter, maybe a length and a half if I'm being generous, and they don't seem to be too worried. They're just sitting on that, waiting and watching and seeing if they need to respond to any moves from time as it stands, going past 40 court, which is always a lovely shot.
Yeah.
Seems to be that composite crew have this race under control.
Down at 32 now. Time still up. A couple of pips higher. Lovely stroke from them. Really well matched. They've made it through a time trial, heat and a quarter final. So there's no shoddy crews in here, but they're being well beaten by that composite crew. So we won't call it over because we said we'd never do that again. But it does look like the Leeds York City Rowing Club Composite are well in control of that race, back up to the start of the second semi-final of the senior double sculls for the Rosie McGlade Trophy, sponsored by Tim and Sarah Lohman, between Bath University B on the left-hand side of your picture there, on the Berkshire Station, and Worcester Rowing Club Worcester University Composite on the right. Now they switch, they always do that. Right by the island, on the left-hand side of your picture. Now, the crew that's down is the Worcester Composite. Actually saw them race yesterday, and now I was on the launch. They had a really tight race yesterday. They made it through, but only by a third of a length against Reading University A crew. So they were pushed quite hard yesterday. As I said, how many races they've already had. Their third race, their second race of the day yesterday, they had to race it right out to a third of a length. So that was probably still in their legs, that Worcester Composite crew there. It's quite hard to come back from such a tough race. I didn't see the Bath University race. I don't know. I haven't got any results from yesterday to show how they were, but they're looking much more comfortable and in control now.
Interestingly, this is their B entry. I don't know if that was just a simple clerical error on the part of their coach, or if these are number 3 and 4 athletes, but it seems like this is number 3 or 4 athletes. Where are we, number 1 and 2?
They're the only ones that made it through, yeah. We nearly saw an upset. I don't know if you saw the Latimer A, Latimer B race yesterday, where the Bs
In the quads.
In the quads, where the Bs nearly turned side by side race, where the Bs nearly turned them over and only missed out by a foot.
You'd think if they're that close to each other, they'd do an 8, wouldn't you? If 8 athletes are as
they had a reason,
well matched.
yeah. I sometimes wonder that we've got so many events at Women's Henley now, why you would put 2 crews in the same event when you could do a pair, or you could do, you could just do something else. But they're looking very comfortable there. This is the first time that Worcester Rowing Club and Worcester University row out of the same boathouse, and have done for a while. It's the same. This is the first time that they've put a composite together. I was speaking to the rowing club captain yesterday. It's the first time they put that together. This crew met in a double, so then they've done well to get through to the semi-finals. Maybe this will spark a closer working between those 2 clubs.
Just watching that Bath crew, they are excellent, aren't they?
Yeah.
Considering how good the Worcester crew are in themselves, this Bath crew are making it look so easy as they come down the course. I mean, there is minimal uplift at either end of the stroke, place where they reach. It's the simple things. That's the thing with rowing, as with a lot of sport, do the simple things well, and Bath are doing that brilliantly.
Beautiful.
And that's what, 3-4 lengths maybe? Just every stroke they've stretched away, and actually now they can enjoy their semi-final. They can row down the course, soak up the applause.
So it looks like they will go on to race.
Don't want to jinx it.
Ooh.
It'd be a lightning strike, no, in my life, if I say they're going to go on and win. certainly
It was
does.
the Leeds York City Composite,
Yeah.
who also looked quite comfortable
Well, they did win by 3 lengths.
by 3 lengths, despite all the rounds they've been through. It's kind of funny, you'd expect, having been so competitive to this point, that you'd have closer semi-finals.
Closest, absolutely. Yeah.
And they're not seeded, these.
No.
They're not seeded. So, we've got the 2 crews going through in the semi-final who look to be the two who should make it through.
Yep.
They could have easily faced each other in this semi-final, but they haven't.
Very strange.
Uh,
Well, we'll go back to the start for race 343.